We are at New Balance Nationals, and we know that means that some of the top high schoolers in the country are here, but that also means that some of the top New Balance pros are here amongst us. And so we have Dani Jones and Katie Rainsberger. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you guys feeling?
Great. Yeah, it's been an exciting couple of days.
Have you had a chance to be down on the track watching some of these athletes compete?
Yeah, we were both down there for the 5Ks yesterday, and that was really fun, just like being down there, seeing some national records. Honestly, the crowd has been incredible.
Yeah. I mean, this is a big enough crowd that we were trying to get the wave going, but, you know, we're baby steps. First, we're packing the stadium. Next time, we'll get a wave going.
Not yet. I mean, track, you would never see a wave.
No, never.
So next year, we'll make history.
Yeah, we'll make
first
that
ever. So, did you guys compete at nationals when you were in high school?
Yeah. I competed at the indoor race when I was a senior. It was my Christmas present to come to New York, and well, at the time it was in New York. This is like 100 years ago. But that was my gift, and I was really excited. I've never competed indoors. I went to high school in Arizona, so I was really unfamiliar with the 200 track. But I ran the mile here in 2014 or 15. She also got third out of the second heat.
Oh,
wow.
You're hype woman. You were going to tell him?
I had to. And all my stats. I do. We've known each other a long time. I mean, Dani and I have been racing since I was a sophomore.
We were like 15, 16.
Yeah, we were like 15 and we've been racing each other, so I know everything.
Take us back a little bit. How did we arrive to the point where 15 years old, the rivalry starts? No, obviously. But how did you get into the sport initially?
I mean, it's always kind of been a family thing for me. It was what I grew up watching my mom do, and then kind of like naturally fell into it. I have 3 siblings, and I'm the only one who runs, but it's kind of just always been like, when I go home for break, the whole family goes up and goes for a run. And so I kind of just grew up doing it, and then in high school, Dani and I would always go to the same meets. I mean, Arizona, Colorado, like, it's pretty, I mean, the Southwest region. I think we went to Nike regionals and cross country, and then we both did the the New Balance Nationals, and have kind of had a fun, like, competitive, but like friendship.
Frenemies.
Friendship.
Yeah. What happens here, right? Like the kids are all hanging out and they step down on the track.
Yeah.
Obviously try to beat each other, but like the friendships and the bonds really start at meets like this.
Yeah, I don't think you realize, like in these moments when you're that young, that you could be racing the same people for like 10 years. You know, one day you'll look around and be like, I'm 26 now. What happened to me? But yeah, it's cool. It's really cool that some of these guys will just keep climbing the ladder and they'll just have the same competition, and it's really exciting.
Dani, what was your entry point to the sport?
I also have a really sports-driven family, mostly basketball. But me and my sister both ran, and she actually started running first. She was younger. And I was just playing soccer, and one day my parents told me that she could beat me, and I was like, all right, I'll just do track for like 1 year. I'll prove to them that I can beat her, and then I'll go back to soccer. And we were just talking about this. I just started running 800s, and one day I went out there and just ran like a 216 as like a 14-year-old or something. I know. Well, if I did that now, it would mean nothing, but at the time it was like a big deal. So yeah, I never look back. I was always a part of like team sports, but there's just something about track and something about competing, and I just loved it. So
seeing the times that they're running out there now, where you're like, thankfully things were different back in, you know, like we were able to dodge that bullet.
What's the time that's like impressed you the most? Like, what's been mind blowing to you? Like, I can't believe high school girls are running 2 flat consistently, or
I mean, 2 flat is probably the 800s for me. Yeah, I agree.
I, fun fact, have the mile record at this meet, and I want to see it go down.
Yeah.
So that's like,
I'm not that impressed yet.
I think that they can do it. I truly do. Like the track, the shoes, like girls are getting faster. Like I love to see it. There's like good competitive rivalries, and I think it's just like a matter of time.
What kind of advice would you have to the young athletes who are out here competing for a national title today to keep progressing and ultimately end up where you both are now as professionals?
I think, honestly, when I think about my high school self as an athlete, I think about this race because I went out and just ran by myself and I ran as hard as I could, and I didn't really know any better. I was just running hard, but sometimes I try and channel my 17 or 16-year-old self, that like bravery that you have. And maybe it's an ignorance is bliss thing, but yeah, don't lose that ability to just run hard and not think about anyone else, and just, I think the purest thing about our sport is that it's just about effort, and I think you get caught up in the competition or the races and stuff like that, and don't lose that. And
wait, I mean, when you're young, you're just like the person next to you. It's so simple, just beat them.
Yeah.
Now it's your job and your livelihood and your coach and at this point, your entire life is built around running fast. And so that purity of high school running, tactically, some of the things that we see out here, maybe not perfect. And that's like the beauty of high school running. You're just going off emotion.
Yeah, it's like the base never changes, things get more complicated and competitive, but really it's just going out and running. It's not that complicated, and not to lose that purity, I guess, that some of these high schoolers have.
So this weekend for a lot of these kids, it's the backpack. Like that's the thing that they circled on their calendar. The reason why they wanted to come here is earn that backpack. For you guys, do you have that one piece of high school memorabilia that you've held on to for even till this day? What do you have? You're laughing already. Something comes to mind.
I brought my backpack from this meet. It's in the room. That's actually from Danis.
Yes, it's 2016. And it's in the room right over there. And I was
really speaks to the quality. Zippers haven't given out or anything.
I feel like we have the Hall of Fame out here, which is really cool to see all the New Balance memorabilia. And it'd be cool to see the backpacks every single year.
Progression. They need to do that.
They're way cooler now.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of pockets.
Technology
is
today, the backpacks.
Yeah. We didn't have those super backpacks.
No, back in our day.
Do you guys keep the numbers of races that you run, or the old uniforms? Do you have everything? Do you hoard all of the memorabilia throughout your career?
In Europe, the kids just flock and after the races and just snatch the bibs. It's the bibs that they want. So, what do you hold on to after a race?
I did in high school. I have a notebook that has numbers on it, and I would write down how I did. And I don't do it anymore. I should, but it piles up a lot when it gets to 10 years. But I don't regret doing that because sometimes you get nostalgic and you look back at it and you're like, oh, that's cool. I was so proud of myself for running that 2:15, and I kept the bib. I was definitely more of a hoarder when I was younger.
So we see a lot of college coaches here, and you both, between the two of you here, the number of All-American certificates is mind-blowing. So for these athletes who are here talking to coaches, starting to think about making that next step to college, when you were in high school, what was that process like, and what ultimately made it be a good decision when you got to college?
Yeah, I think for me, I had a really great relationship with my high school coach, and it was important for me to have a really good relationship with my college coach. So I always sat down and asked college coaches, what kind of relationships do you have with your athletes? What can you tell me about your athletes? And I feel like I learned more from what a coach could tell me about their athletes, because it showed me what kind of relationship they had with them than any of the questions that I could have asked. And for me, it was really important to get continually better and to see that progression. And so just having the opportunity to go to schools and see the environment, I thought that was really important for me as well.
Yeah, I think being overprepared is never a bad idea. I came with a lot of questions. I would ask the athletes questions, I'd ask the coaches questions, and think about also not just running, but if I lose my ability to run tomorrow, will I be happy in this place? That was really important to me. I went to CU, and I love Boulder, and I love the school itself. So that was important, and it's important to think about everything.
It's one thing to sit here and talk to college coaches in the facility after the race, but did you have that moment when you stepped on campus of Washington, Colorado, that all of a sudden you're like, this is it? Was it that simple?
Yeah, honestly, when I visited CU, and I actually went to a run and brunch with Emma at the time. She wasn't on the team anymore; she was a pro. But
wait, so you go on a recruiting trip, and you get to hang out with
Emma. Coburn, yeah.
Sounds like a good deal.
That sounds like it might be a recruiting violation.
There were a couple athletes there too, but I left brunch with her, and not that like Emma completely sealed the deal for me. There's other things, obviously, but I remember like finishing that
There's
brunch.
the Venmo, like she paid for brunch.
right. But I was like, man, like, how cool is it that she's made it this far? And like, I just kind of like saw, you know, can't put yourself in Emma Coburn's shoes per se, but I'm like,
They're New Balances.
right. I've tried my best. So yeah, but I knew on my visit for sure. You like feel it, you know. And people used to tell me that. I'm like, that's a load of crap. Like I don't feel stuff like how do you know? But it's really you will know.
It's like describing love. You'll just know. You meet the right person.
What about you? What was the visit like for you?
Honestly, very similar. I took 2 visits, and I liked both of them. So I went to Stanford in Michigan, and I just like nothing quite clicked. And I called Marisa on a Monday. I went on a visit on a Thursday, and I committed that weekend.
Wow.
It was like sign, seal the deal, let's go.
Well, it was just somewhere that you felt comfortable.
Yeah, like right away, I could tell that I was wanted there. I was important. I was not going to be just another number. She cared about me as a human being, and like not just points. And I also like had a female coach in high school, so like having a female coach, like powerful person in my life it just felt right.
Being around these high schoolers, does the thought of coaching for you guys ever like come up? Like, oh, maybe someday I'll give that a try.
Katie's got more patience than I do. No, I think it does. Yeah, I mean, I think
requires
it's important.
a lot. Yeah,
it's important because those high schools really. It's important to do the right things. It can make a big difference in college to have the right training and to not overdo it or underdo it. So that side of it definitely makes me interested. I think it would be fun and rewarding, but we'll see.
Yeah, I coach at Niwot High School.
They're pretty good.
They're decent.
They're there.
Yeah, don't ask me about that. The point of contention. But they're doing great. I have so much fun with them. Like coming to practice, they just have a great time. They love what they do. And like that reminder for me almost is important, like why I started, seeing their like joy and like their almost innocence a little bit, and being able to help them work through problems that I didn't really have anyone to help me work through. Things that I had to kind of learn on my own, especially as a female athlete, being able to like impart literally any wisdom or help in any way, I think is just like makes it all more meaningful.
Do you go by coach at practice, or do you have them call you by your name?
No, they just call me Katie.
Doesn't earn the title yet.
Yeah.
I feel like high school coaches are such unsung heroes. Like we need to give them the idea of like even just driving on a bus with 10 kids to come spend a weekend and like having to look after.
A lot.
Like, let alone then getting them on the track at the correct time and have them run fast.
They're crying before the race.
Let me tell you.
It's a lot of moving parts.
I definitely not cut out for that.
Yeah. So you're both coming off pretty strong indoor seasons now. Is it just training? Like what's on the calendar for the two of you over the next couple weeks?
Yeah, just a lot of training. We're back to a lot of like basic work. But every once in a while we get in the track and do something fun. But yeah, I don't have anything on the calendar until the end of April. So
yeah, I think our versions now of like what is fun is slightly different, which is kind of fun too. Like I get excited for the threshold stuff on the treadmill. I'm like, yes, let's go grind out 2x4 mile. And Danny's like, we have a 600 at the end of the track workout tomorrow. So like, that's fun. But yeah, lots of work right now, just getting ready for the outdoor season, probably May.
With the idea that the season is, the next 6 months, it's kind of difficult to think that far in advance when you're working towards your goals. At this point, you don't even have a race on the calendar for a number of weeks. Is it ever tough to stay motivated at this time of year when you're not racing? Because I know you're racers. That's why you do it.
I don't think so. I think I've definitely had to learn to think more day to day as a pro. But every day is such a challenge as a pro that it's too hard to look too far in advance. You know, obviously you always have goals in the back of your mind, but I'm just trying to survive, practice, you know, every day is like a prelim, yeah.
When Joe's firing up the treadmills, you're like, all right, here we go again.
Exactly.
All right, well, we know you guys have a flight to catch, but it's been great to catch up with you guys here at New Balance Nationals. We're wishing you all the best this upcoming outdoor season, and thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Awesome job.
Sweet.